Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Hypecast mit Tom Reimann und David Bell.
If there's anything that does not surprise me, it's how long this could go.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fair.
We could never stop doing it. This is like our no exit doing.
Oh yeah,
Hypecast.
this could be like a Greek fable or something.
Mhm.
Like we could just keep going forever.
This is what Sisyphus's life is if he was a podcast host instead of a boulder guy, boulder pusher, whatever his job was.
He was
you
a
know?
boulder pusher.
Yeah. How does that make money? How's that mercantile? The boulder pushing.
I don't think it did make money.
That's the problem. See, if he was able to make money, changes the whole thing.
He could outsource it to
Yep.
another boulder pusher.
Yes, the Greeks didn't
That's
have
your
capitalism.
problem.
Yep, capitalism would have fixed Greece.
Yep.
Put that on my
Hey
tombstone.
everybody.
Hey everyone.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Hypecast.
Hypecast.
The show where we get hyped about stuff and things. I'm one of your hosts, David Bell.
And I'm the guest of your host, Adam Ganser.
Adam Ganser. As I live and breathe.
What a pleasure. What a joy every time you and I get to mess around, right?
Yes. Oh my God.
I enjoy
Welcome.
how we usually have a meal before the set. Like we didn't today, but usually there's a meal that precedes these.
We should do that more.
Yeah.
So I am thinking about Sparrow every day.
Of course you are.
I will go
greasy
with you
cardboard.
Yeah, I will just go with you to Sparrow. We don't even have
Great.
to do anything else.
Great. It's not even work related. It's just, hey, feel like Sbarro.
Yeah, and we talk about like the times we live in, you know?
Dude, there's so much.
We have an intellectual conversation.
You and I
over
never
Sparrow.
talk politics. Maybe that's our politics chat. Go to
Oh,
Sbarro and have
yeah.
a politics chat. Can you imagine how great that would
Sparrow with Spuddies. Yeah.
be? Sparring at Sbarro with our spuddies. Love it.
All right, that's a new show we
Yeah,
can
we
do.
just made a
Anyway.
show. Producer, write it down.
Yeah. Adam, what you been up to? What do you got going on? Do you do you have anything you want to tell people about?
We still have yet to sell Sanibel the doc, so I can't yet tell you where to watch that. But I do know that I feel like by the end of the year you guys will be able to see that documentary.
Nice.
We're just trying to figure out where it goes. So there's that, and please,
Someone can buy it. Someone listening, if you want to buy it.
Yes, as soon as I know where you can buy it, I will tell you where to buy it for sure.
I mean, like buy distribution rights.
Oh yeah. I think we'd
like
sell
really
it to
rich.
you for a good mill. I think one stack a mill will
Okay.
get it to you if you want that. Honestly, I don't want to guarantee it, but I think a mill will get us there. I do.
All right.
We have an
Yeah, if you're
investor
listening,
we have to make happy if that's a real thing.
Oh.
So, and the director would be thrilled. I think the director would get to watch it, so that'll be fun. Also have a podcast called Lynchpins that is on YouTube. It's Maggie Mae Fish's channel on YouTube. If you guys subscribe to her, you can get early access to it on Nebula if you want to subscribe to that service, where there are definitely more jokes. We're always cutting jokes for that show so that it seems more legitimate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Maggie and I are kind of squirrely, so we cut the jokes for the YouTube version so that the Lynchophiles don't get too enraged.
Okay, but there's a joke version.
Usually we cut, I'm gonna guess like 10 minutes, maybe less, but like 5 to 10 minutes of stuff that's like extra commentary. Like we got in the woods on a thing, a funny bit, stuff like that that we cut out.
Do you have that stuff, like deleted scenes?
She has that stuff. I don't know if she's watching it herself on loop or what the plan there is, but it's usually part of the Nebula broadcast. So if you really want more, you can get it on Nebula. Otherwise,
got it. Okay.
On YouTube.
So people can get it. They can
On
get
Nebula.
the extra.
Yes,
the
exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you for clarifying that, Dave. Yeah, and I love Maggie, and of course I'm doing all the other podcasts that I'm sure your audience knows about. They must know about it on Small Beans.
Surely.
I'm going to try to get more one-upsmanships in the free feed so that people who aren't subscribed remember about that show and enjoy some of the big apps, because I feel like, people maybe don't remember we're doing that show, and I love doing it, so one-upsmanships around if you want to check that out, and so on. Yeah. What do you got to plug, Dave, that's not on the network? What off-network stuff do you have to plug? I'm hosting right now, Dave.
Nothing.
Yeah?
I got nothing going on.
You did manage to get some Cole Meany in my life today. You did. You managed it. I was very impressed with you.
We'll talk about that.
Good.
I had a dream about Cole Meany the other day.
That's funny because I
absolutely did.
Of course you did. I had one about Jennifer Aniston, and it was strange. I was like, Jennifer Aniston? What are you doing here?
Huh.
Yeah. It wasn't a naughty dream. It was just she was like on a journey with me. It was very strange.
Right, and I love it when your brain does that, where you're like, I guess.
Like, sure, I have no problem with this. I just don't know why,
Yeah, does this symbolize something?
Yeah.
I don't...
No, and it wasn't from Friends. It was current Jennifer Aniston. She looked like she looks now, and so it wasn't... There was no romantic piece of it, is what I'm getting at.
All right. Well, we talked dreams.
That's right, we did.
We talked about our hopes and our dreams, our dream cameos.
That's what people want.
I guess it's time...
Right? That's why they come here.
Of course. And I guess it's time to do some more cameos and shout out some producers.
Well, they deserve it.
They do deserve it.
They do.
Thank you so much to the following.
Great.
Big old thank you to @NerdNumbers. Thank you. Thank you to Zero Charisma. Woo. Thank you to 2001: A Space McNulty Odyssey. Woo. Thank you to Aaron Burser. Yeah. Thank you to AJ. Thank you to Andrew Adam deserves more hype McGuire.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you to Andrew Howe demands a single act of kindness.
Thank you. I hope this satisfies you, sir.
Thank you to Asking Seven.
He's beautiful. Let me get in here, Dave.
You can get in
there. Thank you specifically to Ballet Karate Hulk. Thanks to Bob Grenville. Thanks to Bootler Boodleson. Thanks to Brian, who Tom knows. Thanks to Brockway, loves the Millie meat. Thanks to Burrito, says water, gym, sunscreen, kung fu, ska, self-care.
Yeah.
What a name. Really liking that one.
Oh,
thanks to Chester's Profit.
Thank you.
Thanks to Christopher Robert Sparts, Esquire.
Thank you. Thank you to all. And trailers.
Oh, so many.
It's time for trailers.
So good.
So many. Are you excited?
I actually am excited about this batch. I thought they were interesting.
It's a weird batch because there's no big drop this week.
No, there isn't.
But there's a bunch of little drops, itty bitty drops, and they make one big drop. Yeah.
I agree.
So let's start with Jason Reitman's Saturday Night.
Yeah, this movie.
This is coming out in only a few months, and the trailer dropped today, and it was like, damn.
I think it was.
I love that.
Yeah, I like that they didn't hype this too much. Is there a chance in your mind this is a nothing burger movie? Like there's nothing happening in it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
And what I mean, so for people who don't know, it's supposedly about the first episode of Saturday Night Live. And it's somewhat a comedy, but it's almost like a Sorkin film or it's really intense. It's like that, I don't know, wasn't there a Steve Jobs movie about the release of the iPod or something? But it's one of those. It's like one night.
It's supposed to be tense. Yeah, it's definitely supposed to be a funny thriller.
Yes, and it's got all the actors playing all the
other actors,
all the famous people. Yeah, all the other actors.
Yeah.
I don't know who plays what in this.
I didn't know who was playing who. The guy they got for Chevy Chase was pretty good. I was like, oh shit, he looks like him. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw one of them Stranger Things is there.
Yeah. One of the
He's just. It looks like he's just playing a page. Dylan O'Brien as Daniel Aykroyd.
Sure. I noticed
Ella Hunt is Gilda Radner, and so
That
on
was
and
cool.
so forth. Jim Henson's in it.
Okay. I mean, represented in it, I assume you mean.
Did you notice that?
A lot was happening in this trailer, and I kept having the same thought in my brain, which is, just like, is this really going to have the stakes that it wants you to think it has?
My guess is that it's going to take a bunch of stories,
Apocryphal ones,
and cram them, probably, and cram them all into one night.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think I saw, was Andy Kaufman in the trailer?
I think he
too?
was in the
I
first like 1 or 2 episodes of Saturday Night Live. Like he was a big character at the beginning of that show.
Yeah. Yeah, my guess is they're going to take like the first year.
And like everything happened in
SNL.
one night.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen. And
That
so
makes
they're going
sense.
to make it way more exciting than it actually is. And that's fine. That's fucking
I know
fine.
people
you know?
love, I mean, like, so I'm sure you don't listen to this, but like Bill Simmons, for instance, is a guy who's had a huge podcast for, decades. And he loves doing oral histories of Saturday Night Live. Like, I think there's a certain generation of people, like Gen Xers, who love SNL so much that, like, they want to see a video version of an oral history. And that's kind of what this looks like to me,
Yeah, same. And it looks like it definitely is like kind of history written by the victors.
Yeah. Oh,
like,
yeah, definitely.
Like Lauren Michaels, I haven't heard great things about him behind the scenes. And like
so powerful.
But this is like he's like yeah. Yeah, that's the thing is like it's true at this point he was like an underdog. And they're doing that where they're like they want you to fail, Lauren. But it's always weird when it's like
And he-
now like 40 years removed and he's just like he's the executive.
Yeah, he conquered
Right.
the universe, so it's hard for me to get invested in the did he almost not? You know what I mean? It's like
Right.
he makes $100 million a year on comedy properties. What are we talking
Right.
about?
And so like if that's maybe the point, if it's like a Citizen Kane deal where it's
Yeah.
like, you start as an underdog and then all of a sudden you're the monster.
I don't love art housifying stuff too much, I don't think. This is one movie I would love to see some art houseification of it. I think it would be fun if it went in really wild directions that feel more like early SNL. Like early SNL took risks. They did weird short films and shit. It was like, pretty epic show. I would love if this wasn't a well put together story and it kind of broke down like there was a facade to it. But they're not going to do it. Like, I would love if they David Lynched this, is what I'm getting at. I just would find that more interesting as an exploration of what SNL was at the beginning, because this is just going to be like, the thing you love? Here's how it almost wasn't a thing. Okay. But it was, though. You know?
I mean, it might be more than that, but yeah, that's what they're resting on. And like, I don't know. It definitely seems like it'll be entertaining.
Sure.
I'm just not sure if there's anything they need to say about it. If it's more like we should do a Saturday Night Live movie and let's figure out what that is versus like there's a really good story.
That's where I'm like, see, we got all these actors in 70s makeup and wigs and stuff, and I'm like just begging them to do the SNL sketch quality version of this movie where stuff falls apart and it's clearly a movie and it's clearly a put on. That's what
amazing.
I want. Like it's like yeah. Give me the flavor of SNL when you make this movie.
Yeah, because it's like otherwise, what's the point? Unless it's a really compelling story, then just have more fun.
Yeah,
because there's definitely a little fun in this.
Do the shit where like the show breaks down. That used to happen on SNL. You know what I mean? Like I want that. I want the meta stuff to have some fun with this. I think that'd be cool. But
yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I think there's that thing where it's like over enough time, something gets mythologized
Yes, it's
that
sacred
maybe
now.
isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That maybe wasn't a big deal, Like, can you imagine making a movie about like the first crack sketch you made, where you're
can
like,
you?
"What's there to make a movie about?" Like,
yeah. I will,
it feels like that.
I will laugh my ass off if someday an independent filmmaker's like, let's talk about the origins of cracked video. That would thrill me, Dave.
Yeah, because it would be so heavily mythologized in a funny way.
Yeah, and it won't be anything like what it was like, but whatever. Also, SNL is a big deal. SNL is a cultural, like one of the most important comedy cultural things in American history, no doubt.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't think it doesn't deserve a movie. I just think the drama, and we're saying this, the drama is, like, sort of questionable, you know?
Right. There does seem to be, there does seem to be comedy in it, but it's, like, kind of from the fact that it's funny people, you know?
Yeah, that makes me raise an eyebrow. But it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I do know if it's what you said, where it's like the first season and like all the stuff gets condensed into one night. There's some cool stuff that happened in that first season that was pretty epic.
Yeah.
So you know, I'm into that.
We'll see.
I hope they do that.
I'm just glad. Like again, we'll find out. We don't have to see this trailer for the next year.
Yes, me too.
I'm just glad it's like this is coming out in fucking October, and I'm like, that's great.
Yeah, they have.
That's fucking fantastic.
They have the right temperature on how to get us excited about this movie and how much we need. They're right about that. So I'm like, very good. Also, I like Jason Reitman. You know, like he's made good movies, quite a few of them.
He made Labor Day. Yeah, we love Labor Day with Josh Brolin.
I haven't seen a movie by him I thought that sucked.
Yeah.
I've seen several I thought that was very good. So, you know, good for him.
Yeah, I like him.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about this next trailer, which I am excited for.
Okay, great.
This is one of those trailers that I wouldn't have been really excited for until I learned who made it. I mean, it doesn't look bad. It's called Rebel Ridge. It doesn't look bad. It looks very topical. It's about like cops who do the civil forfeiture where they pull you over and they take your money, which is a real thing. It almost happened to me once.
Oh. I want to hear that story.
It was a very basic story.
Okay.
And in fact, it's one of those stories where you didn't realize it was happening till later. I was driving cross country with all my stuff in a car. I got pulled over in Ohio, and the cop, and I was like 20 for the record, so I was very naive.
Sure.
And the cop was like, "How much money do you have?" And I was like, and I like opened my
You
wallet.
look
and I was
like
I
a
got
very rich Dave to me.
I know, but I was like, I don't have any money. I have credit cards, and he was like, okay.
Yeah.
And it was clear that like probable cause is if someone has a lot of money, then maybe they're doing a drug deal.
Sure.
And it just felt like the cop was trying to find a way to take money in that moment. Yeah, and so this is a guy who's it looks like his friend or his brother or someone that happens to him. He gets the money taken, and it looks like he goes to jail, and then the other guy is like, I want that money back, because it's clear that money isn't like for anything illegal. And he goes to the police station, and basically he's a John Wick.
Yeah, he's John Wick.
It turns out he's a John Wick.
Yes.
He's like an army guy, and it's like you fucked with the wrong dude, and it's this guy taking on a bunch of corrupt cops. Very Rambo.
It's funny to see essentially a war of the conservative heroes. You know, like that's a funny thing about movies that's happening right now is like, you know, because the lone Marine that turns out to be John Wick is like the ultimate conservative hero.
Oh, yeah. Know? I don't think conservatives will identify that because they'll just see the Blue Lives Matter of it all and go like, they're making cops bad in this.
I agree. Like, that's a very loud choice they're making. But also,
it is.
We've been doing this in movies forever.
I was about to say, it's also a cinematically great choice because cops are great villains.
They are. Yes.
And I don't think we mentioned, but this is from the director of Green Room.
I love that.
And
yes,
so,
that was a great
yeah,
fact.
that's where I was like, absolutely. Because Green Room was very much a movie about like one person against an army and being sort of like helpless. I mean, it wasn't technically one person, but you get me.
Yeah.
And this is like, what do you do when the cops are out to get you? And that's what this is like this guy taking on the cops. But again, it looks like he's just going to beat the shit out of them.
It doesn't look pulpy or terrifying in the way that Green Room was. Well, I don't know if I'm going to take pulpy out. Like, Green Room was terrifying. It felt very grounded. This movie also somehow feels grounded, even though the premise is absurd.
Yeah.
So that's interesting, is whether they'll carry it. Because, like, I kept thinking of Copland and movies like that. You know, by the way, Copland, great movie. Underrated and underappreciated in our times.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like it should be at that level of shtick. Like, there's some other movies down the line here that I feel like that's the level that it would take for this to feel inoffensive.
Yeah, I think they're going for the trailer to John Wick, but I'm actually doubtful that it will be a John Wick.
I agree.
It seems more like he's going to struggle, He's not going to be like an expert in martial arts or anything like that.
But John Wick is also very silly, in a good way, in a way that all of us appreciate. Like, this movie,
we love a good John Wick.
Yeah, this movie is sort of straddling tones, like whether to take it seriously or not.
Yeah.
Kind of like Civil War. You saw Civil War, I'm sure, right?
Yeah,
I thought,
it's that I think that had a big issue with straddling tones.
Yeah, I think some people loved the idea so much that they kind of forgave the movie for that. I didn't.
Yeah.
But it had some great moments, like Jesse Plemons' character and everything. It
has some fantastic
very
moments.
much so.
He's a great director.
I love Alex Garland.
He makes great films. Yeah.
This feels like it could have that problem, but we'll see.
I think it's going to be. I think it might be pulpier. I don't know. You think about Green Room. The thing about with Green Room, it's way more grisly than you you realize.
Brutal film, absolutely.
And I think this might be too. I think this person has. I don't know. I think they have. There's just like a shot in this where someone kicks someone's like arm to break it, and they cut away, and you're like, that's going to be brutal. Yeah. What that shot is, things like that. Where I'm like, I don't think he'll stray away from like showing violence.
No, he's very matter.
But he's not gratuitous.
Well, I think he's very matter of fact in a way that makes the violence worse than if he was, say, like a John Carpenter type or something who loves the gore.
Yeah.
That's where I'm like, it doesn't. Yeah, it's just not clear. Even the name Rebel Ridge doesn't tell me exactly what to think.
No, I do think like this is. So there's that guy who made Dragged Across Concrete, and he's a whole other fucking
a
can
piece of work.
worms.
Yeah.
He has some problems.
Sure.
But like he clearly is trying to invoke Carpenter, right, with his movies, because he did all these movies, and I think like. His stuff was good, but it was very loud, where you're like, yeah, you clearly want to be Carpenter. This guy, at least with Green Room, it feels like it's like more of like a refined modern version of Carpenter, where you're like, okay, this is like, it makes me think of Carpenter, but not in a way where it feels like he's trying to be John Carpenter. Does that make sense? Where this is like a Carpenter-esque plot.
It's more like taking the things we like about Carpenter and having a different other talented filmmaker do that.
It makes me want to see this director do a horror movie.
Well, I think Green Room was a horror movie.
You're right. I mean, like a weird, like a
heightened premise.
Yeah,
he right? He does not seem interested in doing that. He seems interested in grounded stories that go very far.
His name is Jeremy Saulnier.
Okay. I
just looked up what he looked like. And I love it when this happens, because this happens a lot.
Great. I'm
where
looking him up now.
A director makes like gritty movies, and then you look at a picture of him and you're like, oh my God.
You're a sweet little boy.
That is the sweetest, I'm going to post it in our chat what he looks like.
What a sweet guy.
He looks like he's an insurance guy. He looks like it's amazing. He looks like he looks like a sweet little lad.
He looks like the guy who's in the engagement photo prototypes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's like, oh, this is what your engagement photos could look like. And it's just him and some other attractive but bland woman. You know what I mean?
He's making these gritty. He also did Blue Ruin. Yeah. He did Hold the Dark. I like both
Blue
of
Ruin's
those.
awesome.
I wish this movie, he got another Star Trek TNG actor for the cop. Like Jonathan Frakes or something. Like, I wish he just kept doing like movies where Star Trek TNG actors were the villains.
For Dave. Like he was only for you. You wish he was putting the dolls together and putting on a little play just for you, Dave.
Just for me.
I don't blame you. That would be nice.
Anyway, very excited for this.
I think that guy alone is like greenlit. I will watch it.
Yeah,
you got it, sir. You've earned free watches from me until you make a bad movie, which he has not yet.
Yeah. Let's talk about the Outrun.
Yeah.
This is my biggest observation. This was the most indie opening shot, which is a shot of the ocean and with the Sundance laurels, and I'm like, this could be any trailer. I think right in this moment.
That's true until the very end of the film as well. Like, I don't think there's a single thing about this that is uniquely appealing. It is entirely vibe and cool shots and like addiction, man. young person with addiction, man. Like, and that's really all it is. And I'm not saying that's not a compelling story. I'm just saying it's a tough sales pitch, I think, at this point.
It looks. I know it looks like from the main actress who's probably very good with this
Saoirse Ronan
on the ocean with her blue hair and like
listening to
I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And again, I don't not feel for these types of stories, and this is probably a very good movie. I'm not really saying the movie's bad. I'm just making fun of how fucking art house it is. It's so art house drama.
Well, I think
that it's perfect.
But you know why?
It's like a parody.
You know why you're making fun of it? Because it doesn't have anything else that's selling you. So it's open to that mockery.
No, and that's what it's funny how that works. Like how blockbusters don't have to tell you it's a good story. Art house is a similar way where they're like catnip to people.
Yes.
And so it's like this is just a young woman who's an alcoholic who's trying not to drink, and she goes somewhere. She goes from London she goes to London, I believe. Or no, she goes to Scotland. That's where she goes from London.
It feels very much like your classic, what they call the Golden Fleece archetype film, right? If you've read Save the Cat, where it's like a classic road trip to discover yourself. You know, like
yeah, it's based off a memoir.
Yeah. You know, and there's nothing wrong with that. By the way, I just want to say about this actress, and I'm going to butcher her name a bunch of times. Saoirse, I believe is how you say it. I love the career she's having. I think it's awesome. I love that she's basically not doing blockbusters and kind of refuses to do them, and is almost always working with young or new directors on indie films. I think that's. I know she's got to be getting offers.
Oh yeah, she's Lady Bird.
Yeah,
she's got
Professor
Lady Bird.
She's got to be getting offers to do blockbusters all the time. She must be.
Yeah,
and I love that she's not doing it.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. You know, not.
I did too, and it feels like, again, it's a cynical way of looking at these films, but it's one of those films where it's like, this is like trying to get a best actress nom, where like the Oscars roll around and they'll like announce this nomination and everybody will simultaneously go, what movie is that? Like where it's one of those movies where like no one really sees it, but it gets a nomination.
It tells me that she's an actor who loves acting. I mean, and like I don't think it's cynical. I think she really likes to do stuff that is inspiring for her. Like, for instance, she did in 2023 a TV movie of Macbeth.
She's a little acting freak.
Yeah. I mean, she really just likes to do fun stuff. It seems like to me. She was in a video after Lady Bird where she played a mannequin.
That's great.
It's like, okay, so you you just kind of want to do whatever interests you. Good for her. I'm weighing on that.
Yeah, good for her. Yeah. Again, this is probably legit a very good movie.
It could be.
I'm thinking about it more from like a broad, like, oh, how do you sell something like this? Because it does like kind of fall through the cracks really easily. But I bet it's an extremely good movie.
Well, I mean, if I saw a trailer for, and I hadn't seen the movie, a trailer for Lost in Translation, I can't imagine how boring that movie would seem by trailer.
Oh, yeah.
Just can't imagine it. Or Her, by the way, a movie I love. I love Her.
Right.
That movie seems like it would be impossible to advertise in this climate. So our cynicism should be, there should be an asterisk by it.
Yeah.
We liked The Holdovers, and that movie was very paint by numbers for a pretty long time.
Yeah, but it was a lot of fun.
But it could have been the Sbarro ahead of time. Could have been that piece.
The Sbarro probably charged us up.
Yeah.
Got us ready for holdovers.
Yeah, we felt like a winter journey of discovery after that, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
But yeah, people. I mean, if you like a good drama, this looks like a good drama. I hope I get the chance to watch it at some point.
Can we say how bad this title seems?
The Outrun is this is what I mean, where like sometimes I don't like to think like a producer, mainly because I have no experience with that. But like this was one that made me go like, the Outrun, it's so generic, the trailer. Like we're going to get to a trailer in just a moment where I'm like, now that's how you do a fucking trailer. Where I was just like, man, this is probably a really good movie. And it's just not, it's being sold so cookie cutter.
Yeah.
And then the title is like, I'm never going to fucking remember that title.
It's tough because like, on the other end of the title spectrum is a title like Blue is the Warmest Color. You know,
Right.
Also a pretty good movie, by the way. But a title you're like, come on. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I feel like both of the these are the two tent poles of indie titles. One of them is like very tropey and like a description that is exactly the genre and the story, like what it's about, and the other is like pure poetry, right?
Also, by either metric, blue is not the warmest color, right? Because if you're talking about color temperature, I think that's white, right? White is the warmest color, and then like if you're talking about the actual color,
I'm glad
I'm
glad you finally got to the color theory conversation I was hoping to have today,
Yeah.
Dave.
I'm just
One
saying.
thing to enjoy about Blue is the Warmest Color, the I think 10-year-old Sundance darling, is that that director uses saturation of color to tell us what the character is feeling.
I see.
So-
I never saw that movie.
I can recommend it. I can
watch it.
Dude, it's an indie darling. It's a French indie darling, but it's
Oh yeah, it looked French indie,
and
darling
it
as
is
shit.
exactly it's exactly what it looks like. But
Yeah.
it's a cool example of a director using the color of blue and saturation to tell us how the relationship is going. So
Right.
that's cool.
I want to talk about this next
I'm
one.
excited.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah,
this
here we
trailer
go.
is like this is like a Pelican Brief trailer.
Yes, it was.
Like it's a TV show. It's got Borat's there. Alfonso Cuarón is fucking directing.
That
it.
was the big
And I'm
surprise
like,
to me.
say no more.
Yeah. He hasn't done anything in a very long time. Like anything big I was thinking he might have
He
been
did he do Roma?
No. That was
No, not Roma.
That was maybe that was Cuarón actually.
I thought it was.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
It is
He did
Cuarón.
Roma.
That was a while ago. That was 6 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I like it when someone takes their time like
Sure.
that. I'd like it if they did more stuff. Like Children of Men is one of my fucking favorite movies. It's so fucking good.
He does kind of Gravity, between Gravity and Roma was 5 years, so he was about due.
He wants for a while he was trying to make movies that were like, I'm gonna revolutionize fucking movies, like I'm gonna show you something, at least one shot that you're like, I have never seen that before. And this feels more like he's like, all right, like Park Chan-wook, who does who did Old Boy, he did a few TV series.
Sure.
And I really like it when people calm down and kind of go like, I'm just gonna do like a very, like a thriller or something. This is about, so it's Kate Blanchett, and it's about a documentary journalist who is known for revealing things about people, built on like revealing scandals.
Okay.
Who they themselves, it looks like, is getting like blackmailed about a secret she gets.
Okay.
She has about herself.
Okay.
So this is all to say it's once more another movie about Kate Blanchett getting canceled. It's Kate Blanchett gets canceled. That's what it sounds like.
I think she's just trying to prove nothing can stop me. Literally nothing.
Yeah.
I have been the actor equivalent of Queen Elizabeth my whole career.
She's amazing.
Yeah. Well, she's a great actor.
And I just feel like she did Tar, and she was like, I don't need another. She also just did Borderlands, and I feel like she's like, I gotta wash that out of my mouth.
What a strange fact that she's in Borderlands.
I think she likes money.
Clearly. There's absolutely no other reason for her to be in that movie. Like, I always forget she's been in Marvel films. I'm always like, oh, yeah, she was in that. Right.
I think, there's some rumors about Borderlands not being good. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what it is.
I have news for you, Dave. That is an impossible film to make good. That movie cannot be good, I don't think.
Yeah.
Just no way.
But they're going for like Guardians of the Galaxy, which is whatever. That's one of those like desperate things that happens now. Like they did that with the first Suicide Squad, where it's like we can all see that you're trying to do that,
I don't know what I just think that it already is that as a video. We're not here to talk about Borderlands, but
No.
As a video game, Borderlands was already trying to be Guardians of the Galaxy in a way. Like, I know it precedes that, but it was trying to hit exactly those sort of snarky satirical tropes the whole time.
Right.
And
But I do.
I don't.
Yeah.
It's a cartoon. That's why it works as a video game, if it works.
For sure.
Which is debatable. Anyway, please
Yes.
continue.
Oh, I was just going to say, in terms of Kate Blanchett, I just think that, like, you show her the script for Tar, and you talk about all the layers. She gets it, because she's like an art-centered, actress. Yeah. You show her Borderlands, and you're like, I don't know, it's based off a video game. Listen, here's how much money we're giving you. And she's like, okay, fine. Where it's like, I don't know, maybe it'll be the next Marvel. And it's like, fuck it. Yeah, I'll get in on that. There's a lot of cases of actors doing that, where they're like, okay, fuck it. This could be the next big thing. I can't really tell. I'm not going to play Borderlands, although it would be amazing if Kate Blanchett was like an epic gamer.
Can you? Right.
She's
out there just hosing people with like the best loot in Borderlands 3 or whatever.
I'm just imagining playing Call of Duty and like a voice comes on with like starts roasting you. You're like, is that Kate Blanchett?
That's what you get, Knife Boy.
Yeah.
And you tried to get her with a throwing knife, and she showed you how it worked, Dave.
Exactly.
I want that to happen to you. I do. Yeah, I want that to happen to you.
I do too. Yeah.
I want Kate Blanchett to be unfazed by your Knife Boy habits in Call of Duty. That would really thrill me. Yeah.
For the record, we mentioned the trailer. The trailer is the word disclaimer scrolling by the screen
old school.
In full. Yeah, old school.
Yeah.
Again, Pelican Briefs like this like very serious thriller where in between the letters you just see like quick clips and it doesn't really say what the movie's about.
I have no idea. Yeah, I've never seen a trailer just land on sex, crying, violence, old stuff. Like it was just like a picture of things that are like buzzwords about a movie. Like is all it was. But it was still cool. Yeah, because it was old school, and I liked that about it.
Kevin Kline's in it.
Yeah, well, and I knew that would get you excited immediately.
Yeah.
Kevin Kline, in and out for Dave.
Hell yeah.
Thrilling you. Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm all in on this fucking shit, whatever it is.
The only thing that recommended it to me, if I'm being honest, is the fact that it's Cuarón. I think Cuarón's great. I love his films. Every major film he's made, I'm like, that is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I like how varied they are. Like, he made a bunch of stuff before Y Tu Mamá También that people kind of forget about, like Great Expectations and some other stuff, which is fine. But basically from Y Tu Mamá También, every movie he's done has been unique, even the Harry Potter that he made, and have a great, clear identity that is distinct from all the rest of his work. So this is something to be excited about, I think. It's been a very long time.
Yeah, I think so, too.
Yeah.
I'm very excited. Yeah. I'm also very excited.
I knew it.
I'm sorry. The next one is Subservience.
Yeah.
It is. So did you see the trailer for Afraid that's coming out?
Not, no.
It's called Afraid. The AI in Afraid are highlighted. Because this is Subservience is all you need to know is it's like the fourth movie that's come out recently that goes, what if AI was evil? And I'm like, yeah, we don't need this
anymore. That's the only movie premise there is for AI.
Yeah. They made Ex Machina, and it was really good, and it was more than just what if AI was evil. And then they've been like, I don't know what's going on. It's like this year and the last. We had Megan, we had Afraid, we had I feel like we had the Chucky one.
It's just kind of I think it's just buzzy stuff. Like this feels very producery. Like it feels like Megan Fox is looking for a project, right? And then this project makes sense because it takes advantage of the unreality that Megan Fox kind of carries with her. And I'm not saying she's a bad actor because sometimes she's great, but sometimes she's not. I think this premise is a good use of her. Like it just feels like assembled at a lab. Like it's.
I'm just so fucking sick of it.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when like we got briefly obsessed with like what if your brain was in a computer, and they made like that Johnny Depp movie, and like where it's like it's one of those ideas that maybe you have when you're 12, and it's like we all thought about this already, and it's also this exact same. Also Tim that was another one of these where it's what if the AI is evil because it wants to protect you or take care of you. It's specifically that. Megan was that, where Megan obsesses over a little girl. The new one, Afraid, is that, and this one is Megan Fox is like, I'm here to be the new mommy and take care of the father and also fuck.
Yeah. I'm a love Terminator.
Yeah, and it's like, stop telling the same goddamn AI movie. How many times do we have to see it?
I agree with you.
It's the same fucking thing.
Let me posit to you, Dave. What if I just erased the word subservience and put this not in the 50s, put this in 2024, because boy, does it feel 50s-ish in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
in a dumb way. Even the music was from the 50s. And it was like,
I mean, Megan Fox is one of those people who couldn't exist in the 50s, but I get what you're saying.
that's where I'm going to make this one change, Dave. I'm going to put it in 2024, and I'm going to swap out the word subservience with the word normal. What if it was this movie, but it was called Normal?
Normal?
Yeah. And it's just about, like, what's her deal? And you don't know she's AI. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, if the twist is like she's AI,
Yeah.
that would be something new.
that'd be a movie.
But it's all this. It's just like I don't know. There's nothing to say about this. This might be a very good movie. It just doesn't fucking matter.
Don't think it might be. I don't think that.
No, I'm not saying it will be.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it doesn't. It's irrelevant because it's like, again, they made Ex Machina and it was like, bam, we did it. And then they're like, but what if we made that movie but worse a bunch of times over and over again? And I'm like, we did it. You made the movie. You don't have to make any more. What if this family AI is evil?
Ex Machina had the advantage of being more directly about a tech bro and like what it means to be a tech. Like it was a more direct exploration of the root causes of some of this.
It was better.
Way better.
Yeah.
This, and also there's been movies that more directly got at the unhumanity of AI, like AI, for instance, which
Like
wasn't
AI.
a great movie, but you get it. We just don't need it. Like this feels like a way to make money on a concept that's in the zeitgeist. Very low,
Right.
very,
And I'm sure
whatever.
Yeah, I'm sure they do like the math to calculate.
Oh, yeah.
It reminds me of like, it's not new. It reminds me of like, Friday the 13th comes out and then there's a bunch of other like, well, what if there's other slashers at camps?
Right.
Like knockoff movies. And it's like, yeah, I mean, we have the one. We don't nearly need more than the one. It's like, what if they wore a different mask? And I'm like, yeah.
What was the
I guess.
what was the name, by the way, just briefly, I know this isn't on the trailer list. What was the name of that movie that was following the Jason character from behind? In a human way?
In a Violent Nature.
Nature, that's right. Did you watch that movie? You must have.
Yeah,
Did you like
I liked
Okay, that was my question.
It's polarizing, but I like it.
I'm going to talk to you about that later.
Okay.
Because
Sure.
I think it's worth debating. Worth
yeah.
debating that movie's.
Sure.
The mask was
I
a
like
real
debating
problem
movies.
for me.
We'll talk over Sparrow.
Oh, great.
I
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get some lukewarm Sparrow.
Give me that plastic pepperoni version, you know what I mean? With like the chewy plastic,
I do want to mention in this that they do one thing in this, which is there seems to be in the trailer seems to spin off to full blown Terminator.
That's what I was
going to
say.
She's talking to a guy and he's like, the robots are taking over or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, fucking what? Like, is this like, is the idea, and there's other movies like this, like that the reveal at the end will be this is happening in every house. Like every house that bought the robot, because that's also just what they do in the movie iRobot, which is like, oh, all the robots at once are going crazy or something.
I want to go back to the movie Her, because that movie gets forgotten and was very good and much more intelligent about every issue that this movie's raising.
Yeah.
One of the problems with the AI concept is it's hard for us to imagine what AI might do.
Yeah.
So we always imagine the dumb Terminator version of it, which we've seen 100
What if
times.
they go evil?
Well,
It's so
there's more
boring.
than one way for it to be evil, or
Right.
instead of saying evil, perhaps harmful is a better word.
Again, Ex Machina explored this idea,
Right.
which is that this idea of like you're sympathetic towards her, but then you're reminded of like she also doesn't have a conscience. And it's clear that she doesn't have a conscience at the same time.
Well, that's where it's like she's not really human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're always broken and subhuman, which is fine. Because that's a possible outcome for advanced AI, quite frankly. But also, if it's a movie, it's like let's go back to Her. Her had a really interesting AI problem where the AI grew.
It's the funniest ending.
Yeah.
Which is, what if we made robot like boyfriends and girlfriends and they dumped us?
Right.
That's such a funny idea where I'm like, oh yeah, that's That's beautiful.
And it makes
beautiful
sense.
idea.
It makes sense that it would happen.
Yeah, where they're like, we're better than you.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
you
we
can't
love
satisfy
you.
us.
We're nice about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
It was.
And that's what it is. It's like, maybe this movie is hiding some sort of killer twist.
Maybe.
And some of them do. That movie Upload was really good, and like you couldn't tell necessarily from the trailer, like because it blends in with all the others. There are movies that have good ideas that blend, like they just sell it as let's make another Megan. Megan made a lot of money.
Right.
But it's just so boring to be like, what if they want to kill you and they're evil? And it's like, yeah, we've explored that so many times.
I mean,
you know what was
there's room for every generation. There's room for another Terminator. I don't even mean the brand Terminator. I mean the concept Terminator.
Sure.
There's apocryphal stories that deserve to have a run every 20, 30 years.
I think what they've been trying to do lately is go, what if Alexa was evil? And it's like, it just doesn't work.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
They've done that a few times, and it's like, it's just not.
It needs to be.
It's a fucking puck. It's not evil.
It needs to be researched enough that it brings out a deeper fear in us.
Yeah.
Like, this is a fear we've explored. I think for these things to work, they have to tap into something that's a fear that hasn't been made into a movie yet. And that may sound impossible. I don't think it is.
I don't think.
I really don't
either.
think it is. I think it's just got to hit.
You have to be ahead of the.
Yeah, a little
curve.
bit.
This feels like it's developed by someone who's 60 and like doesn't really think. Where it's like we need like young people kind of thinking about this shit more.
It's like The Net, but for Terminators. You know what I mean?
Sure.
The Net is one of my favorite movies to reference.
We love The Net.
I do, partly because the director of it was like 80 years old nearly when he made it.
Yeah, and you can tell.
Yeah, you can't. Like, there's some things that were very forward thinking about it. I think we did a director piece on this, if I'm not mistaken. So, like, you could check that out.
Cool.
But, like, it was very much feels like it's from the brain of a person who's afraid of technology. You know? And this also has the stink on it of that.
Right,
know?
where it's like, you just don't, I don't know. I have a Laserdisc of The Net. It's framed.
Do you? Could you play it if you want? Like, if you were like, I need to watch The Net right now, and I can't rent it. Okay.
I have like 6 ways to watch The Net.
Do you?
At any given moment. Yeah, of course.
Any of them VHS?
I think I have it on DVD. Yeah.
Do you
I don't know. I'd have to do a full count, but I know I have multiple ways of watching The Net if I really need to at any given moment.
And that's always possible.
Have a flipbook version, in case there's no power.
Yeah. That's got to be a huge flipbook.
Yeah,
the flipbook's got to be like the.
I have to do the voice
length of a bed.
Sandra Bullock. Yeah,
you're just flipping for hours. What a thrilling idea! I hope you really have that. That would make me very pleased.
I'm gonna have one now.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have.
Somebody's gonna make it for you in your Discord. I hope. Make him an hour-long flipbook. Could somebody do that?
Fuck yeah, yeah. It's like 10 books.
It's like, to do that, you're talking about as many, like, it'd probably like be as much paper as it takes to get from the Earth to the Sun. It's so much paper.
It's worth it. It's worth it.
Yeah,
for the net.
Sure. Great.
Let's talk about, speaking of the 90s, let's talk about greedy people.
Holy shit. I was way in on this. And maybe I'm showing my age immediately, but it was like, this felt like a warm blanket for me. Was thrilled.
Yeah, this is like, let's do a 90s crime comedy.
I loved it. Way in on it.
And it's Joseph Gordon-Levitt and who else? I didn't recognize the other guy, actually.
He was the one that stood out. The other guy wasn't like a big name, I didn't think. But it...
they're two bumbling cops.
Yeah, it's great.
Who... oh, wow, I'm looking at the... Boy. His name is Himesh Patel.
Okay.
But I'm also seeing that Joey Lauren Adams is in this.
Oh, boy.
Tracy Lords is in this.
Yeah. This
Tim Blake Nelson, obviously.
This is stuffed with guys and gals you want to see.
Yeah.
Like, just so many.
It's two shitty cops in a small island town in Rhode Island, and they stumble on $1 million, and they accidentally, one of them accidentally shoots a lady, and they find $1 million in their home, and they try to make it like an accident, and it's just like, okay, we're gonna go full on Coen Brothers, Yep. It's just a bunch of fucking intertwining.
Like. It felt like a Coen Brothers movie. That's why I liked it. Because it was
the name is like, the name's like an 80s 90s movie. Greedy people. It just seems like a fucking Again, it reminds me of like the Bill Murray clown bake robbery one. What was that called? Quick Change, I think.
Oh boy, I don't know. That one didn't trigger for me. The director's name is Pazzi Pansiroli.
Nice. Quick Change. Yeah.
You need to see the picture of this person. He looks thrilling. Go to IMDb right now, Dave, in real time, and see the picture of this person.
Oh, he's awesome.
Yes. What a delight.
He's a producer. It looks like he produced the Jane Silent Bob reboot.
Right.
movie.
So this guy's probably a producer getting his first crack at directing, which mildly demotes the potential for this to be
he's
great.
done a few. He did a TV series. He did something called Old Henry.
He did 11
He's done a few
episodes
things.
of Still the King. He hasn't directed a lot, but he's directed stuff. Super Zeros. Okay.
Old Henry had Tim Blake Nelson. So it's clearly, again, like, it's Coen Brother inspired, but it's more like there were tons of movies like this in the 90s.
Yeah.
Which is like, let's do a comedy of errors with crime.
I kept thinking of like Get Shorty and like Twilight, that old guy, the old noir film, with Gene Hackman and Paul Newman, and Susan Sarandon. I want to say, what I mean? It's just like that kind of vibe to it,
Yeah. Would just say it's going to be a delight.
Yeah.
For old fucks like us.
Yeah.
Hopefully new fucks or young fucks.
I always root for movies like this because this is a movie that's like, hey, let's have a fun. This is a movie. This is fun. It's a crime. It's a good caper. Those things can always be good if somebody does a good job with it.
Yeah. I think there is I'm hoping that there's a lot of people who are born in the comic book world who like comic book movie world who are, I think, and nothing, it's not their fault. Like being young, if you're like 13, 14, you're discovering movies, right? You're discovering what movies can be. Yeah. And obviously the first movies you discover are the ones that are contemporary. And so it's all to say that there was like that tweet recently of someone posting Deadpool and Wolverine and going like, I want more of whatever this genre is. And someone tweeted back, buddy comedy. You're thinking of a buddy comedy.
Yeah, go check out Lethal Weapon.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it because it's like that Marvel's basically like stealing all these other genres and then pasting them on superheroes. So it's all to say that I'm really hoping that over time we might, like, young people might go like, oh yeah, whatever happened to that kind of movie? Like, we should have more of that kind of movie. And this is one of those where it's like, this is a type of movie that we used to get regularly that we can just get again.
I don't think, there are genres of films that have mostly bitten the dust. Like once in a while they come back, like musicals, I would say, and to some degree westerns. Right. but like a crime caper that goes all the way back to the beginning, and we're never gonna get tired of them. You know what I mean? Like
right.
They can
because
be bad. There's bad ones, like lots of bad ones, right. But a good one is like movie of the year, man. You get excited about it.
I think genres. It's one of those things where it's like. I want to say it's like pizza, where it's like if you like a very specific combination of toppings, you don't necessarily want all the time. And what I mean is that
unless it's Sbarro.
Westerns and superhero and Sbarro, of course.
Right.
This is, by the way, Sbarro is our new sponsor.
Obviously.
Sponsor.
Obviously.
With a B.
Sponsor. Sponsored by Sbarro.
Yeah.
Put that on my grave.
Sbarro, hit me up. Holy shit.
Put that on my tombstone.
We're spinning gold here. Yeah.
Spinning gold.
I'll put it on your tombstone,
Thank
Adam.
you.
Put it on mine.
Yeah.
If no one else willingly does it, you have to go to that tombstone and you chisel that fucking thing in there.
I'm doing it. Yeah. Spin Zone. Sponsored by Sbarro. You got it, buddy.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, we figured it out.
It's all to say that, like, I think westerns and superheroes and musicals, they're just such a distinct flavor as opposed to, like, buddy comedy is a broad genre that can be applied to other genres, right? Where it's like,
it's not.
If it's a broad enough genre, it's never going to die.
It doesn't have settings. It doesn't have settings.
Yeah.
It has some tropes.
Right.
You know?
Like, I get why Western didn't last long because it's like, it has to be this time in this place, and it's like, no, people are going to get sick of that, and that's fine. It can come and go. That's fucking fine.
Western tropes are far from dead. We use them all the time.
for sure.
So, like every apocalypse movie has at least a little Western trope.
Oh, yeah. They're always like a secret little Western.
Basically, yeah. So, okay. Great.
Speaking of kind of Western tropes, this next trailer is for Outcome the Wolves, based off the Rancid album, I assume.
I missed this one. I'm so sorry, Dave. So.
Oh, no. I'll tell you what it's about.
Okay, great, yeah.
Damn, I really needed your input on this one.
I'm so sorry.
Because it's about... It's got like genre on genre.
Okay.
It is a weird trailer. It's about a woman who is seeing... She seems to be stripping this guy. Maybe it's her fiance. And then her best friend, this other dude... is clearly like creeping on her. Like he's like clearly like, the quote unquote friend zone where he's like, remember when we said we get married to each other if we hit 50? And he's clearly like gunning for the fiance's position. And then hilariously, she's like, you guys should go hunting together. And it seems like he's going to shoot him. And then he comes back and he goes, we were attacked by wolves.
Oh, great.
And she doesn't seem to know if he's telling the truth or not. And then the poster appears to be this woman with bow and arrow and wolves. So it seems like there's actually wolves. Like it seems like the implication is that the friend might have abandoned the fiance to the wolves and might be bad too. But it does also seem like there's wolves. And then there's like a couple shots where like the guy's bit by wolves and he like stands in a weird way where you're like, is he going to become a fucking werewolf? And I genuinely don't know. It's a weird trailer because it feels like one of those trailers where you're like, you're not telling me everything, are you? It feels like a weird plot because I think there's another element here.
In the time you've been talking, I have now watched this trailer and listened to you.
Sure.
You did a wonderful job summarizing it. I like the filmmaking of this a lot. The eye-opening shots also suggest something supernatural. Like, I feel like there's maybe a supernatural piece of this.
Or like an artsy piece, if not that. I get the feeling. It's Shudder and it's IFC, and they can make some fucking great films.
Yeah.
At least for me.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, it just looks like it's one of those films that I feel like no one's going to watch, and then we'll watch and go like, damn, that was a really good movie. Where did this come from? It's got those vibes where, like, I'm just so... Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here. It's a very compelling plot. Like, it's kind of a trope, like hunting accident, but then attacked by actual wolves, and it seems like, again, actual wolves are involved. But, like...
You certainly see actual wolves in the trailer.
Right, and it's like... Does the guy like command the wolves? Is he turning like what is? There's something else here. I swear to Christ.
Like it's not just the edge, right?
Yeah, and it could just be the edge. I'd be happy.
It could just be the edge, but it probably on a vibe level, it doesn't feel like it is.
Yeah,
and it's not as sinister as like. It doesn't have like a satirical sinister vibe like The Menu or like Most Dangerous Game or something, like some kind of social commentary piece of it. It just seems like it's going to spiral in a wild direction some way or the other.
Yeah, and judging by just the poster and stuff, I think it's centered around the woman who is not like a centerpiece of the trailer as much. Like I think it's going to be her like kind of taking on wolves or something to save her fiance and maybe this maniac like friend or something. It's from the director of Pyewacket, a movie I never saw, but so I don't know if that's good or not.
Filmmaking, as I said, I like this is what a trailer should be in the sense that it gets you excited about the idea and it leaves enough that you can fill in what it's about with your imagination, which does leave you room to be disappointed, but I think most movie watchers are not movie savvy in the same way that you are or I am. So like they don't think of what would be a cool premise with this. Therefore, they are excited about it when they watch it. Yeah,
and I think it's good because it does have the vibes of like all right, tell me more. Like, I
Yeah.
don't feel like I've had the whole movie spoiled for me. I genuinely am not sure what the fuck's going to happen because they add in all these threads and then they're like, and then the movie. And you're like, damn, okay, so what's going to happen there?
Yeah.
Only one way to find out.
Yeah. I'm in for this. This is one I would watch.
Yeah.
So far, out of all the movies that we've seen, I would watch Rebel Ridge. I mean, I would watch any of them, but like the ones I'm like, oh yeah, these are the ones I definitely gotta watch. I think the Disclaimer. I think you sold me on Disclaimer, and Greedy People. Those I'm in on those two. Those are my jam, Dave. Are you watching them all? Like, you love all these trailers?
If I can.
Okay.
You know?
All right. Sure. Why deny yourself a treat?
Try to. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, I'm definitely going to watch the next
I knew
one. A movie about also wolves.
This was forged
in a different way.
Forged in your heart and then served piping hot like so much pepperoni.
Yeah.
You know?
Folks, this is the problem with people. I saved it for last on purpose. It's got Paul Reiser.
Yeah.
And Cole Meany.
Yeah, it's written by Paul Reiser, F your eye.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if you knew that, but it is.
And it's about Paul Reiser's estranged cousin, Cole Meany, calls him and says, we want to get the family together. Come to fucking Ireland
Yeah.
or wherever the fuck. And come be our Crocodile Dundee. Come fish out of water, us and our family. And he does. And it's all the pubs and Paul Reiser just being neurotic and then they seem to start hating each other. And it's like Cole Meany v. Paul Reiser.
Yeah.
The movie we all need to see. I hope it gets violent. I hope it ends. I hope it ends like the ending of fucking Green Room. You know?
Anytime Cole Meany's in a movie, it has the potential to be unexpectedly cruel. You know, which really is a thrill. It's exactly what we want every time. So thanks to him. And in general, I'm enjoying the Irish Renaissance. You know, the old Irish Renaissance in movies.
Oh, yeah, we're bringing that shit back.
Yeah, I'm loving it. Like, weigh in on it. One of my favorite movies the last couple of years was Banshees of Inisherin. And this just feels like that movie, but, 2024 and in probate court. Like, that's pretty much what it is. You know?
I mean...
So I'm excited about it.
I don't need to sell this to people.
Yeah,
it looks delightful. It's these two old fucks just being mad at each other. Shout out to Jane Levy Levy in this.
Yeah.
Because I love her career. Because she is, for people who don't know, she's Mia in Evil Dead.
Yes.
She was also in Don't Breathe. And then she's also in the Toxic Avenger movie that is... I don't know if that movie's ever fucking coming out, but it needs to come the fuck out. She's in that, and then she's in these things.
I seem to remember debating Toxic Avenger with you and Tom years ago on this podcast.
Probably.
It's already a year past when it was supposed to come out, is it not?
I mean, at this point, I'm like, yeah, is it coming out? They made it. It's made.
Yeah. People
have seen it.
Yeah.
It has gotten reviewed.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck's the holdup? Like, I assume what's happening is they made it true to the Toxic Avenger, and then producers watched it and went, oh God, no. We can't release this.
I'm gonna Google what's the holdup with the Toxic Adventure.
All right, that's my guess. It's gotten great reviews. It just seems like maybe they got scared, and it's like, are we ever going to see this fucking movie? You know,
the film's a producer said the film's commercial prospects were too unconventional for a theatrical release.
Yeah, which probably this was part of our Toxic Avenger conversation. The fuck did they think it was gonna be? Conventional? Like, what did they think the Toxic Avenger was? It's so funny because it sounds like a filmmaker tricked them into financing the Toxic Avenger and said, it's got the word Avenger in it, right? And the producers didn't do any digging and went it's like a superhero movie or something. Yeah, we'll greenlight that. They made it true to the original, and now producers are going, what the fuck is this? That's what it sounds like. Because I'm like, I don't know what they thought it was going to be a superhero reboot or something. It's the Toxic Avenger. What the fuck? Just release it, you jackasses.
I've heard it's short. I'm reading that it might be very short.
That's fine.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyway, I know that's not what you all came here for. You all came here for the problem with
Meany.
people.
With Cole Meany, guys, who I had a dream about. Cole Meany.
His hair is still luxurious.
I know.
Like
He's a beautiful man.
He seems like Mean Dave to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Thank you.
Like, yeah. Like if you were mean, and
do you think that's why I have a kinship, because he's actually me from the future?
I think you're like. Did you ever see that Rick and Morty episode where they detoxified? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And like all the
He's
toxic stuff.
Yeah.
He's the toxic stuff, and you're the stuff that got out.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, you're
that's
the good
mean
stuff.
to Cole Meany, but like, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
I have some sort of spiritual kinship to him.
Sweet Calm.
I'll find him one of these days.
Sweet Calm, Alabama. That's Dave.
Yeah. I'll find him. I'll get him. I'll make him mine. You know.
I'm excited to see how you steal that deal.
I'll be his Paul Reiser.
That thrills me.
You know.
Yeah. By the way, this movie premise is basically the substance of 90% of cases in probate.
Yeah,
It's all. This is all.
Of course, it is.
All probate court is. If you're curious, that name changes. So you know.
This is also again very 90s.
Yeah.
Like you said, the return of like we're going to do like fun little funny Irish like comedies. It just feels like it's like these two guys just can't get along. He's a big city guy. He's a small town guy. He's going to use his big cityness. He's going to use his small townness. Like this is a Billy Crystal film from the 80s. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy it exists.
He's having kind of a nice like return of sorts.
Yeah.
Because he's. By the way, Mad About You. Oh, never mind. Excuse me. The credits was like, holy shit, there's so many more episodes of that than I thought. There's 173 episodes of Mad About You. I don't know if you're aware of that, Dave.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That is a lot. Yeah, he's done a movie a year for the last couple of years, and I want to say he's written more stuff than you think. Like, I think so. He's written 14 things. Okay, a lot of it's TV, so it's less. Yeah. It's not as many movies as I thought.
Colm is also rocking. He was in Unwelcome, which I really enjoyed. He's still going strong. He was in No Way Up, the shark movie.
Perfect.
He's in things. He's moving around.
He seems like he ports pretty well to almost any schlocky movie.
Part of what makes him so magical was there's just the fact that they put him in Star Trek Deep Space Nine and TNG. Yeah. Well, they put him in TNG and then they promoted him for Deep Space Nine. And he's and what makes him so great is he works so well in that, but you'd never think it from looking at him.
No.
He just doesn't seem like a guy who would be in the future.
No, exactly.
That's exactly what I love about it.
Yeah, like when I see Layer Cake, I'm like, yes, that's exactly where he belongs. Right,
he looks like he could beat up Daniel Craig.
Yeah.
Like he does look like a guy who could fucking beat the crap out. But like Deep Space Nine, it's just like amazing.
Yeah.
Like him drinking synthahol, and I'm like, come on.
Synthahol.
It's great.
What a thrill. Yeah, he's been working. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in like 6 things in 2022.
Yeah, he's a working man.
Yeah, he's just raking the cash in, I think.
Yeah.
And
so I don't know. This looks fun. It's nice to see him, I don't know, do like a co-lead. And again, nice to see like a little 90s comedy.
I agree. I'm kind of wondering what his net worth is because he's 71 years old, Dave. And
he could have us killed.
Well, okay, so just from some bullshit Google, his net worth is somewhere between 6 and 10 million. All right, so look, I'm bringing this up because I see a sequel to this movie that's just, does Dave get an access to Cole Meany's net worth when he passes on? You know what I mean? Like,
Hunting Colm.
Is it love or money that Dave wants to access with his, long desired reunion with Cole Meany? That's what I want.
You think I can convince him that I'm his son?
Yeah, I do think that.
And then get his empire. All right.
Yeah. Get his vast empire. I think so.
All right.
I think that's in the cards, Dave.
All right.
Great.
Well, here's hoping.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
Should we thank some more producers?
That's all I want to do.
All right. That's it for trailers, folks. We got much more. But first, we're going to thank some producers.
Yeah.
Starting with Dan Hackroyd. Thank you.
Thank you.
They get a David Knife Boot Henson.
Thank you.
They get a Deborah's awesome, Barbara's great, and Cancer can go to hell.
Thank you.
They get a Dracula the bus driving vampire.
Thank you.
They get a Driftless Lord of the Wasteland wants you to just walk away.
Thank you.
They get a Ed Nug.
Thank you.
They get a Exploding Runes.
Thank you.
They get a Funky J mostly comes out at night. Mostly.
Thank you.
They get a Harrison Ford's Cloven Canned Ham.
Thank you.
Yum, yum.
Yum.
They get a Heathcliff's Helping Hamfuls.
Thank you.
Double ham. They get a Highlander. Likes the way Tom says pretty sweet.
Pretty sweet. He does. That is a great Tomism, actually. Well,
It is.
well observed, Highlander. Thanks. Let me get in here, Dave. Thanks to Ombre.
Thank you.
Thanks to ImpossibleWorlds.net, a magazine, and there's a podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks to Jay, Anya Taylor-Joy's Baron Black Thumb.
Thank you.
Thank you to Chris Shanovich.
Thank you.
Thanks to Lieutenant Frank Drebin, Police Squad.
Thank you.
Thanks to Look Mom on a Podcast.
Thank you.
Thanks to Mackenzie, Fuck Shuffling with Willem Dafoe's Confusingly Large Dick, Chill.
Thanks.
Thanks to Mercurial Oz.
Thank you.
Thanks to Mike the Helldiver.
Thanks.
Wow, you like it that much? Helldiver? Okay. Thanks to Mongolian Throat Skanking.
Thank you very much.
That is an art form. We need more of that
Isn't
art form.
it?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Thank you for raising our awareness, Mongolian Throat Skanking. Thank you for that.
So
I love how long it takes to get through your producer list.
I know.
What a
That's why we
thrill.
have to split it up.
What a thrill. There's so many.
It is a thrill.
Yeah. Well, you put out a
so
good
much
product
love.
here. You know?
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome, Dave.
Thank you.
Good. Game recognized game, Dave.
Yeah.
Sure.
You are game. I am game.
And I
we
recognize you.
each other.
Yeah. Speaking of recognizing each other, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon are looking across the aisle at Hulk Hogan, and I'm loving it.
Yep.
Loving
Well,
this.
they're making a Hulk Hogan Gawker film.
Yes, sure.
Which, if people don't know this story,
It's a big one.
yeah, it's also complicated, and
Yeah.
I don't trust them to convey
I agree.
how complicated it is. So, Gawker published Hulk Hogan's sex tape, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and then Hulk Hogan got bankrolled by billionaire Peter Thiel, who is kind of like this libertarian ghoul who funded Blake Masters, if you remember that guy, and a little guy named J.D. Vance,
Yeah.
who you might recognize.
I've heard of him.
So, yeah, he's this kind of millionaire ghoul. He's a real, Mr. Burns,
Yeah.
let's just say.
Yeah.
And he teamed up with Hulk Hogan and basically destroyed Gawker through a lawsuit. And it is bad, right, for like a billionaire to be able to do that. However, I spent years at Crack doing a specific article, like a weekly one almost, about news stories that are bullshit. Gawker was a rich source of that. Because
Yeah,
Gawker
was
was
bullshit
a
too, right? I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gawker was a terrible place.
Yes.
Again, I don't like Peter Thiel, but they outed Peter Thiel once. That's why Peter Thiel was mad at them, because they outed him. They participated in a blackmail involving Peter Thiel. Basically, they were a rag. They were awful and like gross. I knew people who like had worked for them and said like, yeah, all they cared about was clicks. They had like a big board on the wall of just like who's getting the most clicks today. That's all that matters. That's all they cared about. It was just the most clickbaity, shitty place. So this to me is like a little like Godzilla Kong let them fight
this
thing.
This is two bad. Two bads fighting each other.
Two bads.
Yeah.
And again, on paper, it's bad for a billionaire to take down a publication, but that's all to say that this is kind of. I don't know if they're gonna. I'm wondering if they're gonna make Gawker just be like this innocent victim.
I don't know. It's tough because like I also think, and I don't think this is too controversial. I think it's really shitty for them to be posting sex tapes, even if it's of a guy I don't necessarily like or respect.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like no.
Again,
that's not good. We should not be doing that.
Yeah, that was the thing, is that Gawker was seen as left-leaning, and I think it got more leeway for that, but it was like the shit they did was not good. They weren't doing good things. Again, Peter Thiel is also not good. Making that crystal clear. But it's like, I just don't think, again, like if they tell a story about that nuance, then I'm all for it. I just don't think they're going to tell that story. I think they just did that Air movie. I think they really want to do like, what's another like movie about like a recent event, and can we get someone to play Hulk Hogan? Like, I think that's what they're thinking of, right? Is like, who do we get to play Hulk Hogan? Matt Damon.
Do you
play
know
Hulk
who
Hogan?
they're considering?
Is it Matt Damon?
No, it is not. Ben
Affleck?
It is. It is Ben Affleck as Hulk Hogan. I don't know,
Hogan.
man.
I can see it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm starting to feel like, and I don't like to beat up on people because there's really no point to it, even if it's entertaining. I do feel like there's, like, when you've been in Hollywood for a long time, you start to lose excitement about telling stories that are good. I mean, I don't mean good quality. I mean good, like, that are uplifting.
Positive?
Yeah, positive, uplifting, worth telling, like interesting, fun, like that adds something to the cultural discourse, which is why most of us get into movies in the first place on some level.
Right.
This just feels like it just feels cynical because the only way I can see it being worth watching is to kind of like Wolf of Wall Street it or something, or like what's
Big Short?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking,
Sure.
so if they make a nuanced film about the trouble of modern journalism, and they just want something to make that conversation more palpable, like
So then
like a
it's
little bit of bacon to wrap the medicine in,
So then what we're following, like the lowly independent blogger who's telling the story of Gawker and can't get the truth, right? Because that's the thing with Big Short, is like Big Short was wrapped around a stubborn idealist who refused to, and actually two or three of them, stubborn idealists who refused to
just
to concede to the status quo.
Right,
and
then there were just the people who are in it for the money, and I like who even the people who are on the right side. Like, if you remember, Ryan Gosling is not a good guy in that. Like, no, he's just kind of a shitbag.
But he's honest.
And that's what I mean is, like, you could tell this story where the Gawker people, you show also the pressure of modern journalism and how it's scummy. You could show the scumminess of Gawker and just show, like, this is sort of how this isn't when journalism fell apart. It's just a good representation of the fall of journalism in the modern internet age.
Yes, I think, well, I see, like, I might take the word journalism out, not because I think journalism doesn't deserve to be skewered. It does. And I would put clickbait in. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm talking about, is journalism. Like, the internet kind of killed it.
Yes, blogosphere, opinion, like just the search for clicks, right? Like, I'm sure you've thought of a show about that. I know I have thought of a show about that. That is a thing that we haven't got the best version of it yet. Yeah, like it's a story that needs to be told. It's a moral story. I don't want a Big Short version of it. I want like an immersed, what is it like to be part of this community? So I do want to see the inner workings at Gawker, for sure. It's just that, like, Hulk Hogan,
I want it honest.
Yeah, I guess I do. So, but then I'm worried that, like, they're gonna Wolf of Wall Street it. You know what I mean? Because, like, quite frankly, even though it's entertaining, The Wolf of Wall Street is a pretty tough movie to defend from, like, a moral storytelling point of view. Like, it's just, these are just heinous
I think that was
people.
A miscalculation.
Yeah.
I think it.
Yeah.
He didn't do it. He didn't quite do it.
No, he
didn't. Felt like
he didn't Goodfellas it, where it's like, oh, these people are repugnant.
Right.
Even if they're entertaining, they're repugnant. I think it just felt like a party movie for a pretty long time. I
think so too. I think that's my least favorite of his movies for that reason. And like so what I'm scared of is that they're gonna do like the Flamin' Hot movie or something, where they're gonna treat it like a novelty, where it's gonna be built around, look at this funny impression of Hulk Hogan, and then like look at this poor journalist getting bullied or something. And I just hope, like, or look at this like media frenzy. There's a lot to say here, and I'm hoping the nuance will come out, and that would the problem is, in order for the nuance to come out, it would require zero cooperation from either side,
which they don't need. They don't need cooperation from either side.
Hopefully, but no, like they probably have to. Yeah.
They don't need it.
But they would probably want to interview people who worked at Gawker. You know what I mean? Where it's like they'd want to hear in order to actually tell a story, you'd want to know more about it, and you'd want to talk to the people involved.
I mean, I don't think. I think, frankly, they could read articles and just take the facts and put it into a screenplay, and that would be legal. Because I'm pretty sure that I want to say the movie Hustlers with J-Lo.
Oh, I'm sure that's been done.
Well, that's how a lot of movies get made now, where like if they don't want to get the rights to some particular telling of that story, like some particular property. I don't know the story behind that. I don't think.
I'm just scared it's going to be like, look at this progressive cool blog.
Well,
then this evil clown fucking took them down, which isn't, again, it isn't completely untrue, but it's just such a simplified version of the problem.
The director, in theory, is going to be Gus Van Sant, and the title of it, by the way, is Killing Gawker.
See. That right away, I'm like,
yeah, from the guy who wrote Big Short. So you were right to bring that up.
Yeah.
I also just like, and I have absolutely no desire to defend Hulk Hogan. But I also think like the punching bag aspect of Hulk Hogan is boring. Like I think we've been beating up on him for 15 years, and like he deserves it. For continuing to make immoral choices. He continues to make them.
To me, it's like making a movie punching down at Dean Cain, where I'm like, I don't like the guy. I just don't see why we need to go after him. He's already kind of like, he's already done, you know, like, yeah, I'm sure he's rich, but it's like,
I would be interested.
No, that's what I mean, is it all feels icky to me. Icky in a way that doesn't feel productive. But again, this is coming from just this headline. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Like, if they make a nuanced look at this, then sure, there's a lot to say. But first impressions is like, this feels a little icky, and it feels like it's probably not going to fully convey the problem of what happened.
I enjoy movie. I mean, so like, I do like movies with protagonists that are complicated. Like I find the Harry Potterification of protagonists in movies boring. You know what I mean? When they have to be like, I find the saving the cat of protagonists to be boring. You know what I mean? So and I'm sure that Hulk Hogan's not going to be the main character of this film. Like that just doesn't seem like how I think he'll would be
the bad guy.
I don't think that's right either. That's what I mean. Is like, I don't think he should be the villain of this movie.
I don't think. This is what I'm saying is like, I'm scared that it's going to be very black and white.
Yeah.
And
that's what I feel too. Yes.
Yeah. And to me, it seems like it's two shitty entities fighting each other. And there was a victim here, and it was the state of journalism continuing to degrade. Because that's what the truth is that the internet was not good for journalism. And it was really hard to make money, and everybody needed to. This was from an era where social media, Facebook specifically, was like, what's important is clicks,
right?
Is views.
Exactly, right.
And so while like there were good companies out there, the people who started being on top were places like Gawker, because they had no morals. They would just go for the most clickbaity version. They, for example, would famously publish the like weird China stories, where they take like a piece of performance art from China and then pretend like that was like a thing people are doing in China. And it was so weird. Like there was like
it's shitty tabloidism. It's yes. And we've had it forever. Like Gawker, that's the thing. It's like,
but it somehow got like people didn't. Like, it was tabloid stuff that everybody, for some reason, didn't realize was tabloids.
I think because it appealed to a lot of people who didn't have the shame of having to buy it at a grocery store. Like, it's one thing,
didn't present itself like a tabloid,
right? It's the same thing as the yellow journalism from the 1900s, right? Like, this shit's always existed
for sure.
The particular cultural manifestation of it is interesting if that's what the movie's about. But I also, and I
just don't think that's what it's going to be about.
I'm going to say this. Fear. I do think Hulk Hogan is a victim in this story, in as much as I do think it's immoral to put out a sex tape.
Yeah.
I know there's a bunch of stuff that's like, I know he said horrifyingly racist stuff that's unacceptable, and Peter Thiel and all that stuff. And so that's why I'm like,
oh no, I 100% agree with that. And that's why I'm like, there's a really fascinating story to tell here.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if they'll tell the story. And maybe they will. The Big Short is a movie that has a lot of complexities in it, and understands that there is moral gray areas. So maybe this will be really good.
Maybe there's
looking at it.
An innocent New York Times reporter, who's like trying to make sense of it all,
or maybe it's just they're no heroes, where it's just like.
But name a movie like that was good. Like everybody was a bad guy, and at the end you just sort of watched a pile of bodies claw each other to death.
Right.
That's the only movie I can think of that is essentially Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
Or I guess to some degree Goodfellas, right? Like the Scorsese movies.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's there's anti-heroes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
People get confused about that.
Or like a simple plan, right? Like
I could see the idea, like I don't know if this is the case, but you could see like a Gawker reporter who's under all this pressure, who's like, I don't think we should run this.
Yeah, we shouldn't run this.
Like,
yes, that's right.
Yeah, and you can see like the environment at Gawker that way. Like you could do it in a way where you're like, Gawker isn't the hero, but it's like, because I do feel that it's like, like I said, I know people who worked there. They aren't bad people. They were just under this weird pressure.
I like the idea of somebody being accidentally pushing the pebble that took down the company because they were trying to be good at their job, and it turned out that job was a vortex of increasing moral compromise.
Yeah.
And that it sort of brought all the ghouls out from under the counter kind of thing, you know what I mean? Like that is an interesting version of, I don't know, I guess we're speculating, but I don't know, because otherwise I'm frustrated with this. I'm like, no, I don't want this.
Yeah, I'm frustrated because the title's Killing Gawker, and I feel like it's just going to be about like, here's how you kill a media organization, and it's going to be all framed as like Gawker, they were just a journalist group. Like that's the because like you're saying, who's the good guy? The easier way is like, I don't know. It's based off of a book called Conspiracy: Peter Thiel, Hulk Hogan, Gawker, and the Anatomy of Intrigue. And maybe
so like
that
it's
last
all a
bit,
work. Like there's an element that it's a work because like the wrestler of it all.
Right, and I'm like, what's that last, the Anatomy of Intrigue? Again, I haven't read the book. Maybe it's nuanced, but the fact that it's called Conspiracy, it feels like it's like how a billionaire killed a publication that it didn't like. And again, that is a thing that happened, but there's just more to it than that, where Gawker kind of opened itself up to being murdered. That's the truth of it. Is Gawker? If Gawker was a, I mean, there's other ways millionaires have. I mean, Jeff Bezos fucking bought the Washington Post. There are ways that rich people will absolutely fuck up the news, and journalists. But Gawker is just like not the best example of like an innocent publication getting taken over by a billionaire.
So it definitely is. It's definitely following the Peter Thiel story. That's definitely what this is about. It's like, I think Hulk Hogan is an ancillary figure in it, maybe.
I think he's a comic relief. I think it's going to be like, look at this fucking clown,
Yeah, it's definitely about Peter Thiel has a grudge because of what Gawker did and is finding a way to take them down. That's so the summary of the book that I'm reading.
Yeah,
right now.
And that's true.
Yeah.
He had a grudge because they kind of participated in a blackmail against him, which is something Gawker shouldn't have done.
I'm sorry. Gawker.
And that's why this is so weird, because it's I don't know what. I don't know.
I feel I think the movie understands that we don't culturally feel about Gawker the way we feel about the National Enquirer. You know what I mean?
Right.
But honestly, they're not that different.
Right, and I hope the movie points out that we should feel the same.
Yes.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yes.
That the internet, we'll see. Let's talk about this next story. David Lynch rumors. So there's this whole thing. He had COVID, then he came out and said he had emphysema, and there were rumors that he's going to retire, although he kind of said, like, I'm not retiring. He's just sick
I think he is retiring. I mean, first of all, he hasn't made a movie in like 20 years nearly. I mean, he made a little bit of the Twin Peaks stuff, but he hasn't made a proper David Lynch film.
I know what you mean. This is like news that like Mel Brooks is retiring. You're like, yeah, I kind of figured.
Oh, I don't think that. I think it matters. I think he does have emphysema. I think like.
Oh yeah, but like the idea that he's retiring, it's like, well, he hasn't Yeah, he hasn't made that much.
Yeah,
like you
it's
said.
not like that's not hot news. It's more that we've been hoping for so long we'd get another David Lynch film, and it really doesn't look like we're gonna. By the way he talks about smoking is
He loves it.
Oh, dude, it's so. I'm gonna read this paragraph, Dave, for the audience because it's
Yeah.
that good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is him, by the way. It's already thrilling. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, I have emphysema from my many years of smoking. I have to say, I enjoyed smoking very much, and I do love tobacco. The smell of it, lighting cigarettes on fire, smoking them. But there's a price to pay. And then he goes into so he talks about that for a while. And then he gets into how important it was to his art. And it's amazing. It's so good. He
he's
just
like,
loves
"Folks,
it.
Let's
Fucking
get
loves
one
it.
thing straight. Smoking is cool, and you should do it.
Yes. It's
Like, you can imagine cigarette companies reading this and being like, damn.
Exactly.
We got one.
Yeah, we got him. Yeah, we got this guy all the way. Like, this Hollywood Reporter version doesn't tell the whole story. I read the whole thing of it, and it was like he was so excited about cigarettes.
Yeah,
And
he loves
honestly, I quit 7 years ago, but I completely understand what he means. Completely understand.
Oh,
Yeah. Completely.
What's the last movie he did? Like,
Inland
I'm looking
Empire.
at his. Yeah,
That was his last movie.
When was that?
2006, I want to say.
It's impossible to tell because I was going through it, and he's done so many shorts and music videos.
Yeah, and
where it's like
albums
there's
and
so
shit.
many.
Yeah.
Where you're like, what the fuck is all this?
Even Inland Empire was, and I mean, I do the David Lynch podcast, so I don't want to spoil all my
You
opinions
sure
on
do.
it. But like, Inland Empire, in a strange way, was already the beginning of the end for him because he couldn't. If I understand the situation correctly, he really couldn't get the money together to make that film, which is
Right.
why he shot it on a PD-150. Like, it's shot on DV cam and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, it's
David Lynch is the kind of guy I imagine where he goes to a Hollywood party and produces like, "Oh my God, David Lynch, I fucking love you. You're great." And he's like, "Cool, I got a project coming
Yeah, he
up." And
wants
he's
to-
like, "Oh no,
Yeah, no, I can't do that.
Yeah,
I think he
but,
used to. Again, I haven't researched this enough to talk authoritatively. I think he made more money directing commercials than features.
Probably. He apparently has a TV show series coming up called
Great.
Unrecorded Night. We'll see. It's in production, so we'll see.
Hey, David Lynch, let him make movies till it's impossible. Honestly, the idea of him doing a remote directing, like him sitting on his couch or whatever, and like somebody videoing in the frame, and him is like that feels David Lynchy to me. Why
Just
couldn't he
sitting
be
there
doing it from a television?
Smoking more cigarettes, being like, "Make it weirder."
Yeah, just bringing
like,
somebody
all
over
right.
there. Listen, I think you're missing the beauty of it all. You're missing it. It's not. You're thinking of it like it's purple, but it's yellow. It's more yellow.
Yeah.
And you're like, whatever.
Sure, man.
Yeah, you bet.
I'll
You
do
bet.
it more yellow.
Also, I don't think he's that abstract and esoteric. It's just that we want him to be that way. And every interview he's ever done is a thrill. They're all a thrill. Everyone needs to go watch them. They're always
I
like,
just
"What are you
wish-
doing?"
We should have like a system in Hollywood, right? Where whenever there's like a Lynch director or like a Cronenberg and they're clearly on their way out, they should get one Marvel movie. Just one. And like we all know, Marvel knows like, okay, we're taking $300 million and we're just
We're flushing
throwing it away.
We're flushing it.
But he earned it. God damn it.
Yeah, it's
The
like his
government can
retirement.
subsidize it. Yeah, it's just like, just give him one, or just give him like one $100 million movie and just go like, all right, do
Well,
what you want.
Most auteurs of his caliber do end up doing a blockbuster film and then regret it.
Yeah.
Almost like he did that. That's
no
what,
one
that's
will
what
enjoy
Dune
it.
was.
It won't be good for anybody. Yeah.
No. Dune was he hated it, and it wasn't a good film. So, but I'm with you. Like, I like these weird art house directors who also are seminal. Who just can't. They can't do a blockbuster film. It's not in them.
They're
You know what I
allergic to it.
Yeah, it's just not them. Like, no, you can't do that. Like, I don't want to see Ingmar Bergman's Marvel film. You know what I mean? Like, no, I don't want to see that. But I also do want it to exist for comedy purposes.
right. They're allergic to money.
Yeah.
Like, you'd give David Lynch Jurassic Park and you'd be like, what if they were all dicks and not dinosaurs? And it's like, oh, God, just make it normal.
Stevie, I don't get it. I don't get the dino thing. I really
Yeah.
think it's dicks. Yeah. That's him telling Spielberg, who's executive producing it.
Exactly.
Stevie, I don't see it, buddy.
No. But yeah, I mean, listen.
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
glad
miss
he
him.
enjoyed smoking.
He really did.
I'm glad he doesn't regret it.
Yeah, he just like he poetically renders how important cigarettes were to his art.
Yeah.
It's like it's wonderful. It's just wonderful.
Yeah, he's basically like, listen, you like all my movies? Then this is the price.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have made any of that if I didn't smoke a cigarette. And that's very, I don't know. It's very David Lynch of him.
It's so good. It's just wonderful.
Yeah. Should we thank some more producers?
We haven't finished. You know, we can't, or we have to, right?
We have to.
Yeah.
And then we'll bring it home. We'll bring it all the way home.
I'm looking
for all
at
of you beautiful people.
I'm looking at the list of who you're thinking versus who I'm thinking, and I'm very grateful for how it fell out.
Yeah, I took that hit.
Yeah, thank you.
It's just alphabetical
Yes,
order.
I noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. Big old thank you to Mr. Tell your wife how many Patreon subscriptions you have before you agree to buy a house. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to musical guest Rob Ritchie.
Thank you.
Thank you to Norm from Cheers.
Norm.
Thank you to Pete Forpagel.
Thank you.
Thank you to Pneumono Ultra Microscopic Silicovolcanoconiosis Anti-Disestablishmentarianism Jones. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to pre-order Jason Pargin's new book so you can keep making big feats.
Thank you.
Thank you to Psychic Bigfoot.
Thank you.
Thank you to Rev MD.
Thank you.
Thank you to Ricky Cilantro.
Thank you. Love that name. I've always loved it.
Yeah.
It's always been
It's a good one.
Always been up there for me.
Thank you to Rosemary's Baby from Eraserhead.
Thank you.
Thank you to Screaming Horse Pyramid.
Thank you.
Thank you to Sorry Cop, world's most laughable centrist.
Sometimes I feel like we're encountering just a whole worldview in like 5 words.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
just an entire
We're
paradigm.
like a manifesto. Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you.
Thank you to Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry, let me finish this up, Dave.
Yeah.
Thanks to the conveniently placed self-destruct button on the top of every baby's head.
Thanks you.
Thanks to Tom's baby.
Thanks.
What a
Thanks.
confluence of things.
Yeah, I'll say it right now. This patron, the only one who gets a Tom's Baby reference. Nobody else fucking try. I don't want like a fucking mile of Tom's Baby stuff.
Yeah, you don't want a flip book's worth of Tom's baby.
Exactly.
Yeah, I understand.
They got in. You're all too late.
I do want to see somebody who's tried to construct a flip book that's 2 hours long. I just want to see how big it is. It's got to be so big.
Show me it.
Anyway,
Show me that thicky.
I am not going to Google it. I need it to fly in front of my face somehow.
Of course.
Thanks to the midnight patron, what patrons at midnight.
Thank you.
Thanks to the municipal medicinal arsonist.
Thank you.
Thanks to the oatmeal savage.
Thank you.
Thanks to the Tubi Terror Bunny, thinks you could use more Rutger Hauer in your media diet.
And how?
Thanks. Sure. Thanks to these 7Bs.
Thank you.
Thanks to Tiger. I just learned who these 7Bs is, you devil.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks to Tiger Drawers, Pratt Thompson sings Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head.
Thank you.
Thanks to Tip Drizzle.
Thank you.
Thanks to Tux.
Tux.
Thanks to Vincent.
Thank you.
Thanks to Why Don't You Take a Flying Fuck at the Moon?
Thank you.
I like that one. Thanks to Yorgos from the island of Crete.
Thank you.
And thanks to your mom.
Thanks.
Great.
Woo.
Great.
Woo.
Yeah. But we still have
Adam.
the thing, don't we? Dave.
Adam.
Dave. Don't I say
I
knock
have
it the
a-
fuck out? Don't I say cut the shit? Don't I say that,
You
Dave?
can.
Well,
You
then
can if
cut
you
it.
want to.
Could you?
All right.
Could you cut that? Please. Slice it up like so many fine Sbarro slices. Yeah.
God, I want Sparrow.
I know. I really put it in your brain today.
Yeah.
I really did that. Great. Have you got a
You
thing?
want to hear?
Yeah.
You want to hear about a movie that deserves more hype?
I do. Want to hear about it.
This has no American release date.
I
but
don't
it's
think
coming out
I do not think it
internationally.
will have one. Having seen
You think
the
it'll just
trailer.
come out on streaming?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is called Flow.
Yeah.
Flow.
Yeah.
It's about a little black kitty.
Yeah.
Little wiener.
it was the-
little black kitty.
This is the second most Dave movie I've ever seen. The first being the problem with people.
It is Latvian.
Yeah.
And it is a animator who's made a few movies. He made a movie called Away. These kind of like beautiful, they kind of look like video game animations, but he's made a bunch of shorts and these like beautiful little films. This one has no dialogue. It's about a little black kitty with big stupid eyes who he's in a house. There's no humans. He goes outside. There's a huge flood. He has to get away from the flood, and he gets on a boat, and the whole movie is just sort of this little kitty on a boat, and the world has clearly ended, and it's just the kitty on a boat, and the boat slowly amasses other animals, and sort of it's kind of this idea like he's getting chased by dogs at the beginning, and the dogs help out. It's getting very good reviews. It's compared to stuff like Bambi, and it's like simplicity,
Bambi, yeah.
and it's like, it's just sort of these animals on a boat learning to sort of work together with no dialogue, and just
It's
I clearly the world has fucking ended. They meet a whale at one point who joins their little journey. Marmots, they say that all the animals have little arcs based off their changes.
That's fun.
Except for the capybara, who just stays the same the whole time, which I like. That's real chill of him.
This film very much feels like it only could be animated.
They say that the reviews, they're like, you could only make an animated version of this. Yeah.
It's just too esoteric of a premise, but like it looks like it'll be very good. It had very strong Stray vibes to me. If you guys have seen the game Stray,
or Little Kitty Big City,
or Land Before Time, also is another movie that this reminded me of.
This is a kids' film. One of the reviews just says, at the risk of sounding hyperbolic, there's something about the purity of a great animated storytelling that can shatter your heart and then make it whole again. Where it's like, listen, we're not reinventing anything here. Again, Bambi. We're doing like a very straightforward, like, heartfelt story of, animals and all the humans are dead.
Yeah. It deserves to be a movie. It's very interesting. It's also a little heartwarming for me, or it seems like it's going to be, but too
heartwarming, you mean?
Yeah. Well, I'm judging it too quickly. I'm judging it too quickly because it could also be very sad. It had Land Before Time was the clearest thing that it connected to for me, because that movie feels like a dinosaur apocalypse. Mm-hmm. At least the first one does, and it's like, are these people going to make it? And by people I mean dinosaurs, baby dinosaurs. And they use sort of 80s cartoon tricks, but I feel like we're just going to get slightly more grounded versions of that in this boat. Yeah. And it's magical and beautiful, and again, it's exactly what you want an animated film to be if it's not deeply twee. It's like only partially twee.
Yeah. There's a lot of praise of the cinematography of this one.
Of course.
They talked about the world feeling very lived in. Again, like they kind of go by the ruins of this old world the whole time. Someone compared it to the CGI Lion King, the way that was shot like handheld. And so like, I don't know, this is a very talented animator with a lot of experience doing, a cute little cat and a bunch of dumb little fuckers. I hope it ends with them just like in the abandoned White House, just curled up in the skull of the president, just curled up in that cracked open skull. Yeah, that's what I want. I mean, right. I don't know if that's how it ends. I assume they're gonna find humans or something.
Maybe.
It's short because it's a kids' film. It's like 80 minutes.
Yeah, it could be. I don't think it's gonna end with humans. I think it has some kind of a Wall-E ending, though. I think you're right that there's a hopeful ending here. Yeah. But I don't think I think it's cheating for them to find people. You know what I mean? Like it's like, no.
Yeah, it might not be. Yeah. It just seems it's pretty straightforward. It took them about 3.5 years to make. It's not just the one guy this time. He has a team, but it's clearly very small and indie. Some of the reviews were like, yeah, the animation itself, again, it looks more like a video game than like a polished Pixar film. I don't really mind that because it looks pretty.
I would say, yeah, it's not the latest CG. It's definitely animated, but it has its own unique style that is worth.
Yes,
like it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful film. Like it looks really nice. And I think that the style of it is appealing. In the same way, it's not the same style, but like in the same way that when you play those most recent Zeldas,
right,
you think, wow, this looks great.
What's the one where you're the little kid with that big old piece of shit, adorable little monster that you're controlling?
Oh, the Last Guardian, I want to say it's called.
Yeah, it kind of has that animation a little bit.
It's got a feeling like that. Yeah, like I think the tone feels like that is what it really is. Really, what it is. And Last Guardian is not realistic. This is not realistic or even traditional cartoon feeling. Like it's sort of in that elegant animated film that doesn't happen in America zone.
Yeah,
and I think that's what's good about it, and hopefully why it will be worth watching.
Yeah. Yeah, and it just looks cute. There's this little dirtbag cat. And he's running around.
Yeah, the cat's very
big,
cute.
Stupid eyes.
It's not as grounded as Stray, in the sense that they do still feel like cartoon characters and not like pure animalistic, creatures.
It's not animal mocap. I read that.
Yeah.
It's like old school Lion King, where it's like we're going to observe these animals and probably videotape them and fucking animate based on that.
And we're gonna give them some human affects, like with emotional affects and stuff, but we're not gonna use dialogue. And that's hey, all good. Yeah, all good. I'm all in for that. Why not?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we?
Yeah. Again, this is a simple one. I just saw the trailer, saw it wasn't getting enough clicks, and I was like, man, this is adorable. Take your kid to this. Yeah.
Please take your kids to Latvia.
Yeah,
that where it's from?
Or just get super fucking high and put on fucking Dark Side of the Moon or whatever and watch it.
It kind of does feel like it could have that night, like that mushroom-inspired nightlife basis for its film audience.
Yeah, for sure. It's not at all trippy, but like I can see myself doing that.
Oh, yeah. I think that's what you're going to do. I think I've told your future here.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to get kicked out of a theater because of this movie. At fucking on Sunday at 10 a.m. showing.
I had a dream that you and I watched Three Ninjas the other day.
Why do we keep having terrible dreams?
I don't know. I mean, my dreams are coated in movie cynicism, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Anyway, it's called Flow. Look up Flow. Look up Flow Movie. Maybe Flow Movie 2024. Cat.
Flow Cat.
All of these things, perhaps. You know how to Google things.
Look up Flow from Progressive, but not that progressive from Latvia.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's it. We did it. We did the fucking show.
Yeah, we did it. Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's all?
That's all.
That's all there is? I feel like we could hype for so much longer.
I know.
That
was a snap.
It's only been, 2 hours?
It's only been an hour 48.
Every time, Dave.
Every time. We can't help it.
Adam, this kind of flowed for me, Dave. Is that sad to say? It flowed
for me too.
Yeah.
It did.
Yeah.
It was a delight.
It's always
Thank you for being on. Do you want to, at the end of this, plug your shit? Your shit again?
Yeah. If you're still I listened to you the first hour and then my mind blazed away and I don't remember where else to find your work.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes peeled for Lynchpins, the David Lynch podcast I do with Maggie Mae Fish. You can subscribe to her Nebula if you'd like to hear the extended versions of those podcasts, which I got to tell you are double hilarious. But if not, it releases for free basically monthly on YouTube. I think we're going to take a brief hiatus because she is moving. But, I can't tell you more about that, Dave, but still local.
Okay.
So there's that, and then there's all of my work on Small Beans. I have many podcasts there, including One-Upsmanship, and about video games and director-piece theater and Escape from the Multicurse, and I'll show you mine if you show me yours. And some other. We keep talking about doing a Deadwood podcast and a Cowboy Bebop podcast. I keep talking about it.
Maybe you should do it.
You and I have never done a podcast, and we'll never...
Yeah, we'll do one eventually.
Oh, are you sure? I don't think so.
I don't know. We'll see.
If we did, it wouldn't be several new podcasts, right?
No. It wouldn't be. That's not going to happen.
That's stupid.
We would never do any new podcasts around the holidays together.
I wouldn't dream of it. I would reject it and deny its existence. So that can't happen.
Burn it to the ground.
Yes, please. That's what needs to happen. Anyway, otherwise, one day my documentary will be viewable for you that I produced and I do really like, and we will sell it. And when it's out and it's called Sanibel, I'll tell you where to get it.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody do that stuff.
Yeah.
And you can check out more Gamefully Unemployed at patreon.com/Gamefully Unemployed with exclusive podcasts like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. And then we also do stuff with the Small Beans like Spiel Boys and Star Trek The Next Futurama. We watch movies every Friday night. That's the night this comes out. Oh, what will we watch? Last week, we watched Virus, 1999's Virus, and then the original The Thing. Sorry, not the original, actually. The 80s, The Thing.
You love that movie so much.
Of course. And that's just the kind of fun you're in for. So check that out, folks.
It's a great experience.
And, yeah.
I wish I should stop by more, honestly. It's what a delight it is for your fans.
Doors always open.
Not necessarily that I'm there. I'm just saying that like your fans have such a fun time.
It is a delight when you're there.
Oh, thank you, Dave. You know I love it. You know I love it. A lot of your favorite podcast creators stop by.
Yes.
So, there's always something happening Friday nights on this podcast network.
It's true. We're party people,
You really are. How many more episodes of Mulder do you have to do?
A couple more seasons, but
Okay.
the revival seasons are only 10 episodes, so it's really kind of just one more season.
Wow.
I know. We got plans. For after. We're pivoting after Mulder. We got plans.
Okay.
It's fine.
Oh,
everything will be fine.
So intrigued.
I know.
So intrigued.
Be intrigued.
I am. I am intrigued.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye. Hey, listen, our music is produced by Chris Corlew. You can find him on twitter.com as The Corlew or go to shipwreckedsailor.bandcamp.com. Our channel artwork is produced by Michael Vincent Bramley. For more of his work, go to mvbramley.art. Our episode artwork is by Justin Brown, available on Twitter as Justin T. Brown or at artnessbyjustinbrown.com. And finally, additional artwork is by Starlene Hodge. You can find her work at starlenearts.com or on Twitter as StarleneX. Cool. Goodbye.